We've all heard and seen the news, I mean a lot of news, about Russian fossil fuel exports to Europe following Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. Well, the news has been focused on natural gas, I guess mainly because winter is coming and natural gas is critical for home heating. Oil actually generates the most revenue for Russia, as the transportation sector in the EU and UK is by far the largest consumer of oil. Europe imports over 95% of their needs, with Russia accounting for about a quarter of that. While the EU is connected by pipeline to Russian oil, about 3/4 of all oil imported from Russia is delivered by tankers. First, a bit of background on some of these oil tankers. We'll focus on three main classes: the Aframax, the Suezmax, and the Very Large Crude Carrier, or VLCC, aptly named as this vessel is indeed very large. The smallest is the Aframax. It is 245 meters long and has a capacity of about 600,000 barrels of oil. The next largest is the 285-meter Suezmax, which can hold about 1 million barrels, and then there's the VLCC, the second largest oil tanker there is. At 330 meters, it is over 3 football fields in length and has a capacity of 2 million barrels. We're going to begin by looking at the global tanker fleet for these three classes and compare that to Russia's tanker fleet, or more specifically those of Sovcomflot, Russia's largest shipping company. And then we'll take a look at the issues of what the tanker requirements might be to redirect Russian oil from Europe to Asia, primarily India and China. Worldwide, there are about 860 VLCCs, 670 of the smaller Aframax, and 580 Suezmax, more than 2,100 ships in total. This compares to Sovcomflot's fleet of just 2 VLCCs, since Russian ports don't allow ships of this size, 42 Aframax and 15 Suezmax. In addition to these 60 oil tankers, they also have 60 other vessels, both product ships, which are used to transport refined products like gasoline, and shuttles, which are used to transport oil from offshore platforms to the coast. Although Sovcomflot has ordered more tankers, since they too are under Western sanctions, they can't raise funds in Western markets. So in an effort to help pay its debt, they sold an unknown number of ships, although they claim they were older ships, which were unusable under the sanctions. So, what are the main issues facing Russia's ability to ship oil and divert these tankers from Europe to Asia? First and foremost, the EU is banning the insurance and reinsurance of ships carrying Russian oil, giving EU insurers until the end of this year to implement the ban. This is very important, as shipping oil without insurance is extremely risky due to the potential of a multi-billion-dollar liability in the event of an oil spill or an accident. Since nearly all of the world's oil tankers, about 95%, are insured by the International Group of Protection and Indemnity Clubs in London, plus some firms based in continental Europe, issuing insurance to shipping companies is relatively easy to control. Further, classification organizations such as Lloyd's and ABS have refused to provide service to Russian clients. These folks establish and maintain technical standards for the construction and operation of ships. A certificate from such a group is required for a ship's owner to register the vessel and get marine insurance. Denying shipping insurance is deemed to be one of the most efficient means to exert pressure on the Russian oil industry. In fact, this was one of the very effective components of the Iranian oil sanctions. To avoid an insurance ban, Sovcomflot switched all of its insurance to the Russian state insurance company in June of this year. At the same time, the Russian National Reinsurance Company announced that it would reinsure Russian ships. In reality, though, the insurance and reinsurance would really be funded by the Russian federal budget. They have also relocated the management of its fleet to its subsidiary, Dubai-based SCF Management Services. Plus, the Indian Register of Shipping has announced that it would provide safety certification for several dozen ships managed by Sovcomflot. Despite all of the sanctions on Russian oil, including the insurance ban, Sovcomflot will still be able to continue to operate and ship oil to Asian markets, but not without complications. First, using the Russian federal budget for the purpose of insurance and reinsurance essentially increases the cost of oil and reduces state oil revenue. Secondly, since Russian ports don't allow VLCCs, any oil shipped to Asia on this class of vessel would need to be loaded from smaller ships or ship-to-ship transfers. In 2021, Aframax ships carrying Russian crude oil to China and India represented about 5% of the total demand for this size class. That escalated to 14% in April, creating a challenging market for buyers to find ships of this size. Thirdly, since about 80% of Russian crude oil is transported by tankers controlled by other countries, over half being Greek ship owners, even if Russia was able to secure insurance, it is unclear how ship owners from other countries would be able to manage it. And finally, the Sovcomflot fleet, as is inadequate to carry sanctioned amounts of oil redirected from Europe to China and India. IHS estimates to divert Russian oil shipped from Europe to Asia will require about 120 ships of varying sizes, 40 VLCCs, 30 Aframax, and 50 Suezmax tankers. While the number of tankers required is double Sovcomflot's total current fleet, it represents considerably more capacity due to the sheer number of VLCCs required. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for new videos on energy, the environment, and new energy technologies.